Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live Q&A session, all about postgraduate degrees in the field of education. My name is Inez Alves, and I'm a senior lecturer, and I'm the Director of Postgraduate Taught Degrees in the School of Education here at the University of Glasgow. I'm delighted to welcome you to this live session. Today, I'm joined by some current students and also by one of our former students who will talk about their experiences and also answer your questions. If there's anything you want to ask the panel, you can write your questions in the chat, and then any relevant links will also be posted in the chat. And now it's time to meet our panel. So welcome, everyone. It's really nice to see you. It's wonderful always to have students and former students joining me in these live Q&A sessions, because I think you can share a lot of your experiences. I will start with a question that ideally I'd like everyone to answer, and that is just a very brief presentation of who you are. So tell us your name, the program you're studying or that you've studied, and maybe if there's any kind of small detail that you want to share with the audience. I'll go around. Maybe I'll start with Damini. Damini, you studied with us. When was it?
Hi, Ines. Yes, hi, everyone. I'm Damini. I completed my master's in inclusive education from the University of Glasgow, and I graduated in December 2023. I am currently working as a widening participation post-graduation tutor at the University of Glasgow, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Great. Jordan, do you want to go next?
Yes, of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan, and I am a current student of the MEd Master. This is Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages, or TESOL, which is simpler. And yeah, I just started this year.
Thank you. And Alex?
Hi there, my name's Alex Furman. I'm currently undertaking the Masters in Psychological Studies at Glasgow. I've been teaching for the past 10 years, so I'm kind of transitioning to go in a new career direction. And so I've just started this year.
That's great. And Deborah?
Hi, everyone. I'm Deborah Summer. I'm just starting my master's in the Education Public Policy and Equity program here at University of Glasgow. And I'm excited to be on this journey, honestly, and kind of familiar with Alex. I've been on the teaching path, and this is kind of a little bit different, but it's an exciting journey.
Great. And Shanshan?
Hi, my name is Li Shanshan, and I'm current studies in educational studies, and I really enjoy it in Glasgow Uni. That's all.
That's great. So one of the questions that we students get frequently asked is, why did you choose the University of Glasgow to study your program? Why Glasgow? Because I imagine there would be many other options. What made you select Glasgow? I don't know. Jordan, do you want to go first?
Yeah, well, I am from Colombia, and this has something to see related to the city of Glasgow and the University of Glasgow. I wanted to find something very similar to my country in terms of friendliness. And then I found out that Glasgow was chosen as the friendliest city in 2022. That immediately just caught my attention. Then I checked the university, and the first impression was like, wow, that's a beautiful place to be. Then I started to look everything in detail from the School of Education, especially my master's degree. The curriculum and the subjects that I am seeing are very important and relevant for my field. So it was just a matter of not looking in another direction. It was easier in my experience, So yeah.
It's great. And Deborah, I could see you nodding. Would you mind sharing what made you choose Glasgow?
Very, very similar to Jordina. I checked out what University of Glasgow looked like, and I was just blown away by the beauty of the city. For instance, Glasgow is such a beautiful place. It looks like you're living in a picture book. And apart from that, just going in and exploring what the Education, Public Policy, and Equity program in my situation looks like, and just kind of like the intricate details that were put into crafting the program together, and the opportunities that are attached to it as well. They're quite unique, and it gives students, I feel like, a chance to really explore and dive deep. And so that really attracted me to the University of Glasgow, and just inclusive of all of the additional support that I discovered on the website itself before I got here. It was really, really impressive to me.
And maybe I'll move to Alex.
Yeah, I would agree with Deborah. So I was living in Germany and I knew I wanted to come back to Scotland, and I'd done my undergraduate degree in Scotland. So my decision was more based on the program rather than the location of Glasgow. So I really like that the psychological studies, I wasn't really sure which direction I wanted to go. And when I was looking at the program, some of the other universities that I'd gotten accepted to, they didn't have as much diversity when it came to the course contents. Whereas, for example, my degree allows me to look at, do I want to go into educational psychology and stay in education? Do I want to move into clinical and health? Do I want to go in a completely different direction and do social? And so for me, it was really important to get that grounding in the theoretical, which Glasgow, from the online perspective, seemed to really go into. And then when I also attended the online kind of Q&A, the thesis that we do in the end is practical based. And so it really gives you an idea as to kind of how research is done in the psychology field, which in comparison to some of the other unis that I looked at, some of them would offer a thesis on just a literature review. And I felt that having that practical background was really important just for future, if I wanted to apply to a doctorate or something along those lines. So that was really important for me.
Thank you. Lee Shanshan, what made you choose Glasgow and your program?
Honestly, I'm Chinese and I have the undergraduate in China, and I choose Glasgow Uni is have a lot of reasons. First one is academic reputation. University of Glasgow is one of the UK's and the world's leading academic institutions, and has an excellent reputation in the field of education. The university's School of Education is internationally ranked and offers high quality education programs. And also, I'm the international student, and I like the international studies environment. Glasgow Uni offers a multicultural study environment with students and staff from all over the world. Students have an opportunity to interact with people from different cultural backgrounds, broadening the horizons and helping to develop the international perspective on education. And also, I like the beautiful campus environment and comfortable living experience. And I think Glasgow is a vibrant city which with a rich cultural life and a friendly community atmosphere. I know the sentence of people make Glasgow. The university's historic campuses and excellent facilities provide an environment for students to study and life. Yeah.
Thank you. And maybe I'll come to you, Damini, as well, in terms of your choice of Glasgow and the program.
Yes, so everybody has covered about the beautiful campus and how about the reputation of the university. Apart from that, like Alex mentioned, the course that I wanted to be part of, having worked as a teacher in India, I wanted to transition into educational research, and the MEd program in inclusive education was it aligned with the goal, and the course structure promised to build my teaching experience that I had in India, and also giving me developing my research skills in the program that was promised. That was a bridge, and which was exactly what I was looking for in a postgraduate program.
And I'll stay with you, Damini, and I'll ask you, what was your favorite part? Now that you've started and finished the program, what was your favorite part of the program, or any particular course or any particular aspect?
Yes, so I really liked the course which was evolving concept of inclusion, which actually helped me in my dissertation. So that was why I was really interested in the topic which I chose for my dissertation. It was included in how teachers think about inclusion, and the course helped me in building my arguments and analysis part of all of that. It really helped me with that, and even the help that I received from my supervisor. So Ines was my supervisor for my dissertation. So that was the part where I could do my independent research, and I could see what the future would be like in the field.
That's great.
Yeah.
And maybe, and I know for those of you who are doing your master programs at the moment, you won't have had a lot of time in Glasgow, but I'd ask you, I mean, so far, is there anything in particular about any course or the program in general that you've really, really enjoyed so far? And maybe I'll come to you, Alex.
Yeah, so I was originally thinking, oh yes, I'm really enjoying my developmental psychology, but I feel that that's because it links into what I already knew about neuroscience and all the rest of it. So it's kind of like home turf, a little bit of comfort. But what I've actually realized, just as Dominique was talking, was we got introduced to coding, and that was a bit of an oversight on my part, where when I did my undergraduate, we used Excel. And now it's a case of we have to learn how to code in order to gather our data and present it. And I have no background in this, but I've been really, really enjoying it. The course is really, really well structured in terms of teaching you how you actually use it and then applying what you've learned to new problems and situations. And they also have weekly check-ins, and the lectures themselves are really, really open and forthcoming when you go up to them and go, I'm really struggling. Or, hey, I just had this quick question. They're all really on the ball if you ever have any questions. So it's been really supportive, especially for somebody who's out of their comfort zone. It's been really, really positive, and I'm really enjoying coding of all things. So, yeah.
A good surprise then. And you mentioned support and resources there, and I think, Deborah, I'll come to you, because when you first told us about your choice, you also mentioned things to do with support and kind of the things beyond your courses. So what resources and support have you found helpful in your academic journey so far?
So honestly, there's so much to of resources available, especially at a postgrad level, because you come in and it's like crunch time already, and you have to keep at the pace. But it's so comforting to know that you have GTAs, for example, that you can always go to for support and for help. And most of them have gone through the program, at least in my situation. Most of them have experienced some of the courses, and so they know what they're talking about when they give you solid advice. And then, just like Alex was saying, professors here are so easy to connect with. They're always open to questions and connecting, and no question is a stupid question, honestly. And I really appreciate that perspective. And apart from that as well, in the School of Education, there's a lot of writing. And if you're an international student like I am, you'll know that education is different everywhere, and writing standards are different. And if you are happening to come from a different language other than English, you have to prepare yourself for that. And the University of Glasgow really does a fantastic job of providing extra resources, especially for international students, when it comes to academic writing and just making sure that you understand the system here academically and you're prepared well enough to get to your assessments and work through them in a way that helps you to be successful. So that's something that is really impressive to me here. And I think it's something that a lot of people would find very, very valuable, especially on a postgrad level.
Thank you. And maybe I'll come to you, Jordan, because I think you'll have the kind of the support, but also the English language from almost two different perspectives as an international student, but also as the topic of your studies. So what kind of resources and support have you found helpful so far?
Well, I have to start by saying that this comes from all of my lectures, and the tutors that I have or that we have in our master's degree, all of them are really helpful. They want to share experiences with us, but at the same time, they are there to support us. There is this subject called language learning and application, and there I have two tutors, and both of them are all the time encouraging us to check, for example, on our platform of Moodle, we have some resources to improve our writing, and especially academic writing, and there are some lessons for improving also our speaking. So the university is committed to the students to help us all the time, and you can see this not only from the university but also from the tutors that you have in every subject. This is quite a huge difference, because from my undergrad, it was not like that. It was like you were alone, but you didn't receive like that support. Here is like all of them are very attentive to you and what you are doing, and if you feel okay. And there are actually some sessions that are one-to-one with our tutors, which is incredible because they like track our process and they allow us to comment, for example, if we are not feeling well on some of the subjects or some of the things we have to do during our classes. And that's great. So I have received a lot of support from my tutors, the university in general, like everyone is there. And also the School of Education students experience, they are also there like to help you. I mean, you just ask and you have it here at Glasgow University. You will receive the support you need.
That's really, really nice to hear. Lee Shanshan, I wonder if there's anything in terms of again resources or support that you've found helpful in your journey so far.
Well, I'm in a school building now, but actually the internet is not so good. So would you pardon the questions again?
Yeah, so I was just asking, in terms of your experience so far, what resources and support have you found helpful for you?
Oh,
Don't worry.
I I can't hear it so well. So, is that the community or just favorite classes?
The community. I think maybe we'll let you find a better. The connection across the campus is sometimes better than in other parts of campus. So maybe we'll let you find another spot, and I'll come to somebody else for now. I don't want you to be worried that you can't hear me. Okay, so maybe if I jump on to the next question, and that's about plans for the future. And I think some of you have touched, Alex, you've mentioned how the program allowed you to go to different things. And I was wondering, maybe, Deborah, if what are your plans if you started thinking about them, and how have your studies so far helped you prepare for that, for those future plans?
So I personally really appreciate the way that the University of Glasgow really differentiates its postgraduate programs, because it gives you a lot of opportunity to really dive deep into a specific aspect of education. And for me, looking into public policy, it's really opened up my insights to the various many opportunities that exist within that area. For me particularly, I've been building an interest in working in the nonprofit space and seeing how that also correlates with education policy and how those two worlds kind of collide. And so I wouldn't say I have pinned down specifically what I'm going to be doing, but I really do enjoy the fact that this particular program gives the students an opportunity to actually have an excursion at some point during the year where we go and very well-known organization that's part of the UN, for example, UNESCO, and just to go and see how they are working with education policy and just having that in-person experience and that practicalization of the policy network really brings into focus. And I feel like at certain points at that level, I will definitely feel more confident in pursuing my sites in nonprofit spaces within education policy. But that is something that I'm very much interested in working towards, especially with the backing of the courses that I've been able to do here. Some of them have really dove deep into not just policy, but actually research, like Alex was talking. She hasn't had experience in coding. My program is not in a research specific category, but we're still given the opportunity to learn about research and to understand the different aspects of research that have to do with policy. And I feel like just having those different experiences being put together, giving us those skills really enhances our opportunities. And so I'm excited to get into those spaces soon.
Great. And I wonder, Damini, you've mentioned something that in terms of kind of future plans and how the program started making you think about those future plans. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So, so my long-term goal is now is to pursue something in the field of educational research. So I want to be a researcher, and the program has equipped me with the analytical skills, and which are not only valuable in my current role as a tutor, but also where I'm working directly with students, but also looking into future in educational research where I can put it down. So I'm particularly interested in investigating how inclusive education would be in my country, in India, and how teachers can help build more inclusive spaces for students. So I'm really interested in that aspect of it. And for this, I'm thinking into looking into a doctorate and getting more experience in the UK as well, so that I can, like the program, bridge both of them together and find the gaps and find solutions regarding it. So that is on my list, and that is going to be like how my future career would be.
Sounds great. We'll try Lee Shanshan again. And so thinking about your plans for the future, what are your plans, and have your studies helped you prepare for those plans?
I changed the room, so the internet is good now. Um, as I'm 23 years old after graduation, I think I should work for a few years first. As I'm studying about educational studies, so I think I'm more suitable to study more theories related to education, or as a teacher to study the ideas of my students and the difficulties they encountered in their studies to help them solve the problems. And currently, I'm working on an article about education psychology. So I think in terms of my career, I plan to get involved in some international Chinese language education, because now I'm participating in the Chinese corner of the Confucius Institute as a volunteer. Uh, but of course, I think the ultimate goal is to have some academic result, and then apply for my PhD. Yeah.
What about you, Jordan? What are your plans, and is the program kind of helping you towards taking the steps towards that future?
Yes, definitely it is. I am actually planning to do, as you guys, a PhD in education as well. And I am planning to develop something on how my language, Spanish, can be integrated in teaching English, because sometimes there is something in this moment around the globe that people believe sometimes you have to teach English but without using your mother tongue. So I would like to research more a little bit about it, because I have found that it can help you. Actually, it can help, and it can enhance your process. It can improve your skills in the language. So that's what I would like to do, like, soon, because that's what I am learning to do at the moment. So I would like to continue just doing it, and then maybe why not be a university teacher? That's my plan.
Okay. And maybe I think, Alex, you spoke a little bit about your plans already. So I'll jump on to the next question. And the next question we had here is, how did you find the move to Glasgow? And I know you said, Alex, that you had lived in Scotland and then you moved away and back. I think probably all of us moved to Glasgow at some point. How did you find it? And maybe I'll come to all of you. So if you try and capture that move in a short sentence or a couple of sentences, that I think it really helps, because that's something, when you're thinking about moving to a new country, a new city, can be quite scary and overwhelming. So if you just share what were the key things about that move.
So mine was quite hectic, but I feel that was due to my own personal situation, where my partner and I had gotten married the previous couple of weeks earlier, and then we moved, or he moved first, and then I moved about 2 days before the course started, and then living a little bit out the city, getting to grips with the train, or do you take the bus, or do you take the subway? There's a lot of different travel options for getting around Glasgow, which is really good, but when you first arrive, it does feel like a lot. So the orientation week that Glasgow has in that first week is really, really important, I felt, just for figuring out, how do I get to my lectures? Where are my lectures? So although it was hectic, it was a case of just finding your feet. And then I think it was Jordan had mentioned that if you ask for help at Glasgow, you will get it. They have all the resources. You just have to engage and, send that initial email or go up to the desk and say hi. And it's, really good.
Li Shanshan, how did you find the move to Glasgow? You moved all the way from China, I'm assuming. How was the move? Oh, can you hear me okay, Li Shanshan?
Oh, is that my turn?
Yeah.
Um,
I was asking about how did you
firstly,
find the move to Glasgow?
Firstly, there was a great sense of anticipation. Glasgow is a vibrant city with a rich history and culture. The city has both modern facilities and old buildings and museums, such as iconic landmarks of Celtic and Scottish culture. As a student, I'm really looking forward to exploring the music, arts, festivals, and beautiful natural scenery. The culture skin here will be very attractive for studying and living. In addition, Glasgow's multiculturalism and inclusivity may feel very welcome. As a cosmopolitan city, Glasgow attracts students and residents from all over the world, which means that I have the opportunity to meet, interact with, and study with fellow students from different cultural backgrounds. This not only broadened my horizons, but also helped me to integrate better into city. Adapting in terms of climate and lifestyle was a challenge for me. Glasgow's climate is known for its rainy and colder temperatures, which took some getting used to. However, the Scottish landscapes and the greenery are definitely the highlights of the climate here, and look forward to visiting the surroundings natural attractions to relax and explore. Cost of living and accessibility are also advantages of moving here. The cost of living in Glasgow is relatively low, which is very important for students. The city also has a convenient transport system, making it easier to not only get the campus, but also to travel to other places. There's a lot of to looking forward to about moving to Glasgow. Not only is it a great place to study, but also offers a rich living experience. I'm sure living in Glasgow will bring back many great memories and growth. Yeah.
And I just noticed that there's a question on the chat, and I'm thinking, Jordan, that will be for you. It's an applicant, a person asking about the big differences between the TESOL courses at Glasgow and those offered in other universities. I don't know. I mean, you've probably in your research you've come to that. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, there is a small difference between MEd and MSc TESOL, and this small difference is the years of experience you have as a teacher. If you have, for example, 2 years of experience, you can apply to the MEd TESOL. When I applied to my program, I was looking for something practical. In MEd TESOL at Glasgow University, we have one subject in every semester that is a practical subject. So in the first semester, we have language learning and applications. You have to teach. You are going, for example, this week actually is my first week doing it. I have a micro teaching, so I have to prepare my lesson, and I have to go with students of masters of the university and teach them. You know, that's interesting, and that really caught my attention at first. And then on the second semester, there is one subject that it's only for us, for MEd students of TESOL, and it's course design. What you literally learned here is to design courses according to the needs of your students. For example, if your students are doctors, so you are going to create a specific course for them so you can develop the course while you are also covering all the needs that students have. Those were like 2 bullet points from my election when I chose the University of Glasgow. And besides of this, you also can you have a range of optional courses for the second semester, and according to what you want to achieve in your future, you go according to that line. For example, in my case, I would like also to be part of a team of evaluators. So I chose a subject that is language assessment and feedback. We learn how to evaluate listening, how to evaluate speaking, how to evaluate each aspect in English language. So that is what make the difference when I chose the University of Glasgow. I can choose my path, but at the same time, they offer me the ideal courses. You know, is not like something that you are not going to use, but you are going to use it definitely. And as I told you, you can choose what you would like, because I also saw here there was another person who asked about children education programs in children. For example, in our program there is one that is very specific for children education. So this also helps to students who are interested in teaching children. So It's a bunch of options you have, and you just select the one that it's going to be according to your path in your process.
Yeah, that's great. And I think I'll move us on to the next question there. And it's just asking you about the student community. How did you feel the student community, or how do you feel the student community is like at the University of Glasgow? And maybe I'll come to you, Damini. You're looking at that community from a different perspective now, but what are your highlights of that student community?
Like when I came here, because we have so many festivals in India, I was missing home a lot. And then because of the student services that we have at the University of Glasgow, I got to know that there is an Indian community, and they would do different festivals, celebrate different festivals. So I was, even when I was feeling homesick, I was part of that community, so I could go to attend the festivals and meet people from my culture. I think that was something that really stayed with me, and we have those connections right now as well. So it's like an ever connection that you would have. It continues even after you're through with your course. So that is something that I carry with me. All the relationships that we've made.
What about you, Deborah? What are the kind of highlights of the student community for you?
Well, I will say, first of all, Glasgow is a very warm city. When I first got here, I was blown away by how helpful and supportive everybody is, even people that are not part of the university. So I just needed to say that. I got a little lost when I got here, and somebody was just so kind to help me. But apart from that, I think the student community is also just really amazing. There are so many societies and clubs that you can become a part of. As soon as I got here, obviously the feeling of, oh, I'm new to a place and I don't really know anybody came in, but it was quickly blown away by just how accepting everybody is and how welcoming everybody is. And kind of similar to Damini, I'm originally Nigerian, and so there's a Nigerian student society here. And immediately I got connected with that community. I was just connected to so much more. And I realized there's actually a huge Nigerian community in Glasgow, and I didn't know that. So that's just really a small part of like how inclusive the university is, especially when it comes to student involvement. There are tons of opportunities weekly, even just within the education community, and then also in general with the university, that they have so many events going on, so many opportunities to connect with people, to get to know people, to have adventures and go visit places and do fun things. And so there is always an opportunity to get connected to a community or a space here. So it's just really wonderful, and it's exciting too.
Yeah. And I think I'm conscious of time, and the one question I'd like everyone to answer is, do you have any advice for future students? Because I think it forces us to think about our own experiences, but then also think, and I think it's really, really helpful. So maybe if we go around everyone, and I'll start with Alex, if you don't mind. Do you have any advice for future students?
I would say, regardless as to like which uni you do decide to go to in the end, is get involved. And one thing I have really liked about Glasgow, and this is mirroring what Deborah and Lee have already said, is we do have such a diverse community of students. So it really gives you kind of that broad chance to meet people from different backgrounds, different cultures, all the rest of it. So you really get to kind of experience, like I've made a lot of friends and they've really kind of taken me in and shown me all these different cultures and stuff. And what Dominique was saying and Deborah was saying regarding having the Nigerian culture and the Indian culture is we also have like the Scottish side as well. So I've been able to take them to, for example, there's a St. Andrew's Ceilidh on, and so they get to learn how to Ceilidh dance and they've never done this before. So just getting involved in those different societies and opportunities that are present is really important, I would say, just to enjoy university overall.
And I'll jump onto Jordan.
Well, I agree on Alex, and definitely the first thing you have to check is to enroll a society. We don't have a Colombian society, but we have a Latin society, which it means all Latin American people, we are there. So we have lots of events. I also love hiking. There are like 4 societies for go and hiking and trekking. I also like sports, and there are thousands. There are over 300 societies. It's even hard to choose, because sometimes the times are like the same, but definitely join a society. You will not get bored if you do it. And also another recommendation is pay attention to the library, like how it works, because you are going to use it a lot. So if you can do the pre-session course about how to use all the resources in the library, that's going to be super helpful for you. But yeah, definitely just literally enjoy your time in Glasgow University.
So we've got 4 minutes, so I'll go on to Damini.
I'll be very quick. So, yes, so my advice would be to don't be afraid to reach out for help, whether it's from your professors or from the student services. If you need any support, there is a support in place. You just have to ask. And that I think it's just asking for the help that you need. And like I agree with Alex and Jordan.
And Lee Shanshan, what advice
I
would you
have a
give?
very common advice. Like, I think students are constantly under pressure these days, and they should find a healthy way to release it. I suggest that the students should exercise more. I often see a lot of locals who like to run on the way to the supermarket after class, but running is not good option for my weight. I arrived in Glasgow in November, in September, and from now, just in a month, I lose 10 kilograms now. I prefer badminton, squash, and tennis. You can run on the courts. You can meet people who play very well and play with them, or even chat with them. So it's a good opportunity to play sports, because I think Glasgow's a gym is very good to let people exercise themselves. Yeah.
And Deborah.
I would say yes, definitely have an open mind. Don't let the stress of trying to get into the university freak you out. I saw there's a comment, or rather a question, about education, public policy, and equity. I would just say there's no specific qualification that you have to have before you can apply for most of these education programs. They're pretty wide open. And so if it's something you're interested in, just go for it. There's a lot of good information on the website. You just have to take your time to look through it. So that's another thing I would suggest, is just take your time, go through the website, read all that's there, read all that you need to have as information, and just go for it and have fun.
That's great advice. And that's 2 minutes to the end. There were a few questions. I'll try and tackle them very quickly. First one around early years focus. I would say a number of different programs will allow you to focus on early years. So for example, if you're doing TESOL, you could choose to focus on early years. If you're doing inclusive ed, the same. And many of the other pro ed studies, definitely EPI, probably. So I would say psych studies, again, it will be similar. So I would say we've got childhood practice that's more focused at a kind of a leadership of early year settings rather than early year studies. So hopefully that helps. And then Erasmus Mundus is a program that we've got a few in Glasgow. They're very different in the sense that students move between different universities throughout the year. And so I would say if you have questions, look up the program lead's name in the website and reach out to them. Always reach out. I think it's a very good advice, Damini, because it's we're here really to help, and I think staff will be very happy to kind of reply to any questions you have before you join us or after you're in Glasgow with us. And that's 45, so it's time to finish. It's the end of our Q&A session today. thank you so much to our 5 panelists. It was really, really nice to have you. For those online, we hope you found it useful. This and other recordings from today will be made available here and on our website over the next few days. So if you want to watch anything back, you can do that. If you want to find out more about studying at Glasgow, you can visit our YouTube channel where you've got program overviews and the student videos. And also you can connect to other students to find out what's like to study in Glasgow. You can chat online through something called UniBuddy. So thanks again for the session today, and we will hope to welcome you to our campus soon. Thank you. Bye.